just as of today, 2-time Grammy nominated.
It's not a disturbance.
But I'm here to scream what God needs me to scream.
I've gotten to the next status. Am I going to go to jail if I don't?
I'm your flight leader. I need you to follow my instructions.
I don't want this man to be reprimanded. I simply want us to keep in mind how to treat each other.
Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new to this part of the YouTube streets, hi, I'm Shelby, also known as Love Smiles Passion, and welcome to the chaos. I want to do a little chit chat. I have my friends with me, Dottie, Penelope, and Malcolm, and we are talking about the controversy that surrounded gospel recording artist Bobbi Storm and what happened with her when she was on that Delta Airlines flight. I've been watching a lot of people's takes on this entire situation. Actually, one of my favorite YouTube channels posted a video about it today, and since this is like my 11th video, I'm like, I don't want to watch someone else's take on it because I have my own opinions that I want to put out in video form, and so that's the reason for this video. I'm coming from two different perspectives when it comes to this situation. Number one, I used to work in aviation. I used to be a flight attendant, and two, like Bobbi Storm, I'm a Christian. So if you're interested in hearing my thoughts, please keep on watching. Now, for those of you who do not know, as I'm sure most people are aware at this point, this entire controversy surrounds gospel recording artist Bobbi Storm, who is a relatively new talent. She sings with the gospel group Maverick City Music, and within the last month or so, she came under fire after footage came out of a dispute that she had with a flight attendant on a Delta Airlines flight. The tea about it is, while sitting on a flight that was at the gate due to maintenance issues, Bobbi turns to face the aisle and tells the other passengers on the airplane that she was nominated for 2 Grammys. Put a pin in that. We'll get to that later. Other passengers, as normal people would, because most people I feel like in that situation wouldn't be like, oh, boo, shut up. They'd be like, oh yeah, congratulations. And that's what the people did. And then out of nowhere, she starts to sing. He approaches her and basically tells her to be quiet. I think he does say please. Editing Shelby, if he doesn't say please put that in the video. And she says to him, well, they're enjoying it. And he says,
I'm not enjoying it.
So they go back and forth for a time to me that seemed a little bit too much. It was too much back and forth. Then she said to him, well, will I be arrested if I stop or if I don't? And he says, if you want to continue on this flight or if you want to take this flight, you'll follow my instructions or you will not be taking this flight and you'll get off. And so at that point she says, okay, well, fine. He walks off. And she was like, well, I'm going to just sing it on a low to y'all. If you watched Friday, and I hope if you're watching my video, you have. But do you remember that scene in Friday when, I think it was Debo, came up and was talking smack to Craig and Smokey, and Smokey was like,
I be quiet, but when he leave, I be talking again.
Now, after the video was posted online, Bobbi Storm did a follow-up video on her Instagram about the entire situation, and one of the things that she said in the video was, I don't want this man to lose his job. I just want this to be a lesson in how to treat people. Put a pin in that. We'll get back to that later. She said that Delta Airlines called her and apologized to her. I will say it was just a little odd because she did have Delta Airlines phone number saved. That did seem a little odd to me, but hey, anything is possible. She kind of gave a little bit more tea about where she was coming from. She said she felt compelled to sing, I guess, the minute she got on the flight. And as the plane was taxiing, she was like, well, I should get up and sing right now. But the plane was about to take off. So she was like, oh, forget it. I'll just go to sleep. But then the plane had to go back to the gate for maintenance issues, where she realized in that moment, it's my time to shine. I'm going to stand on business for the Lord. And so she felt as though God called her to stand up and to sing a song. Ironically, it was her song, but she mentioned in her follow-up video that there was no laws being broken. She had been on numerous flights in the past where she was able to sing, and so she doesn't understand why the flight attendant on this particular flight was telling her to stop. Now, I want to start off by saying I don't want to assume her intent. We always like to say, well, this is what the particular person meant. This is why they did what they did. I don't want to say that because I don't know her. I don't know her heart. The Lord does. So if she says she's doing this for the Lord, I have to trust that. So I don't want to call her a liar. Again, I'm just giving my perspective on how the entire situation sounds to me. After watching this entire situation take place, I got massive ick vibes. There was a time when I was in therapy when my therapist would tell me to grab myself and comfort myself. And that's how I felt after watching this particular video. Now, for those of you who do not know, I used to be a flight attendant. Yes, for a good 5 months. Now, the timeline doesn't matter. I did the work and I earned my wings. I just realized that maybe being a flight attendant wasn't for me. But anyway, one of the main things that I learned as a flight attendant is when you give a passenger a direction or a directive, they are required to follow your instructions. There's no back and forth here. There's no arguing. There's no, hey, maybe it should be this. I think part of the reason why they make sure that that's done, or they ask that to be done, is to set precedent, right? So God forbid we're in an emergency situation and I need you to go right? Because if you go left, you're going into fire. And you're sitting there like, well, that makes sense to me. Why would I go that way? It's life or death, baby. I'm telling you, for your own life, for your own well-being, for your safety. So in non-emergency situations where nobody's life is in danger, it's good to set the precedent that when the flight attendant gives you an instruction, you follow it. Flight attendants go through weeks and sometimes months of rigorous training, and then after they earn their wings, they still have to go back once a year to get trained all over again, or to make sure that they remember everything that they learned in their initial training. They are the ones that are qualified to do the job, not you. You are a passenger. You are trusting your life in these people's hands. So when they tell you to do something, do it. It felt as though she just knew what was best. When she said, well, I've done this before, it's like, okay. I've done things before where in a completely different scenario, it probably wouldn't be allowed. Case in point, I had purchased myself some resumes and some headshots, right, back in October. I kept telling myself to go pick them up, and I never picked them up. I just went today because I had an audition today. And the guy said to me, we threw it out because it was rendered abandoned because after a month, you didn't come pick them up. So because it's such a small order, we'll reprint them for you. But in the future, make sure you come in a suitable time. So what that tells me is, if I do this again, I can't go back and expect them to give me a free thingy because they did it for me the first time. Does that... I think about how my boyfriend went on a trip last month. He had worked 2 8-hour shifts, and then immediately after working, he went to the airport to take a flight. Imagine how my boyfriend would have felt if he was sitting on that airplane and out of nowhere, this random passenger just starts singing and won't be quiet. When I watched the video, there was a person that was directly in front of her that just looked very uncomfortable. My monkey gif that I put in my videos often, that's how that passenger looked. I will say maybe the argument could be made that his delivery could have been better, but to be honest, he was just doing his job. So at this point, you're being a nuisance to this flight. So when he comes up to you and tells you to be quiet, it's because you've gotten it to this point, ma'am, where he now has to be a tad bit more assertive, not aggressive, but more assertive in his delivery. I saw that they said that Delta posted a comment, and what they said was, for the safety of our customers and crew, it is always important to follow crew instructions. I watched a video recently of this guy who had F and one of the presidents on it. That's obscene. And so a flight attendant can come up to you and say, you need to turn your shirt inside out, or you need to put zipping up your jacket. One of the two. The flight attendant has the authority to do those things. The guy said in the video,
I'm an American. My dad was in the army. My dad served in the military.
Did you serve in the military? And I saw another video. People were just on a random airplane in America shouting,
USA! USA!
I tell you, nothing and nobody makes me cringe more than us Americans. The pilot had to get on the speaker and say, if you guys don't tone it down, we're turning this plane around. And the guy was like,
he has no authority. We're Americans.
He actually has all the authority in that moment, babes. You don't get to outrank the pilot. On to my second point. As a Christian, I felt very uncomfortable about the entire situation because it was reading very much big ego. Now, I understand the Holy Spirit can hit you at any moment, right? The Lord can talk to you in any moment and say, you need to go. You need to do X, Y, and Z. But the first thing that she said out of her mouth was,
I just want to let y'all know, I just found out that I was nominated for 2 Grammys. Yes.
Now, I want to say, no shade to her. She as an individual is not nominated for 2 Grammys. She is actually nominated alongside her music group, Maverick City Music. So I just think that it was about her. And I don't know, maybe she was doing it because she was like, well, maybe if people think that I'm nominated for a Grammy, they'll be more receptive to what it is that I'm doing. Word of God, you don't need to butter people up to get them ready to hear from him or to hear a word from God. Isaiah 55:11 states, so shall my word be that goes forth from my mouth. It shall not return to me void, and it shall accomplish what I please, and it shall prosper in the thing for which I sent it. So if he sent you to preach his word, or he sent you to sing a song to bless people, you don't have to butter people up. I want to believe the best about it because I want to believe the best about people, but yeah. As Christians, we don't do ministry for show. We don't do ministry to get recognized. Now, me personally, I probably would have believed that it was genuine, that this was about spreading the gospel if it wasn't recorded. So it's like you wanted the attention because you thought this was going to be a viral moment to make you big, to make you look good. And multiple times in scripture, Jesus preaches against exhibitionism because that is what the Pharisees and the scribes did. Matthew 6:1 states, be careful not to practice your righteousness in front of others to be seen by them. If you do, you will have no reward from your Father in heaven. I can see both sides of this situation. I can see the side of the person that feels compelled by God to do his will and to go forth and let people know about him. I just feel like the way that everything went down, it was not about God. It was about her. Then I think about how extremely disobedient she was. And I don't think that God's going to call you to be disobedient. When somebody in authority is telling you to do something, I don't think the Lord would lead you to be disobedient to that person that's telling you to do something. Especially when it's that person's job. Hello? And then I think I could have even read differently about this entire situation if she just, when he came up to her, she would have apologized. I feel like this whole entire situation would have been so much better if she had just gotten up and asked for the authority to be able to sing. It just felt like there was no humility. She probably is the most humble individual on the planet. But in that moment, it didn't come off that way. And the fruits of the Spirit is what? Love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, and temperance. Meekness is essentially an attitude or quality of heart whereby a person is willing to accept or submit without resistance to the will and desire of someone else. And to me, she didn't do that. If the goal or the mission was to draw souls to Christ or to bring people to Christ or to even speak about the goodness of Christ, I think that what she did in that particular moment did the exact opposite, because nobody is really talking about God in this moment. They're talking about her. My mother says often that the testimony that we sometimes give to people is just the life that we live. What I mean is, our life is an example. Then in that particular moment, she should have been very humble and very much like, I am so sorry. My apologies that I did that. I mentioned earlier that she said, well, this is a lesson on how we should treat people. I would say yes, but not you in that instance, how we treat the person that's doing his job. If there was at any point in time somebody that said that that flight attendant should have gotten fired, or he was this, that, and the third, he doesn't deserve his job, I feel like they are completely out of order. If we're going to treat people better, that starts with how we treat people that are servicing us. Pause. People that are giving us customer service. We think that we can talk to anybody any kind of way that we want to because they are providing us with a service, and that is not the case. You would think that after being in a panini for like 2.5 years or 3.5 years or however long, because it's still not over, kind of sort of, because people are still getting bovid, you would think after that we would have learned how to treat our customer service employees, service workers, but this situation is just indicative that no, we have not gotten better at treating our service workers any better, and it's a bit unfortunate. I'm just gonna say, like, stop singing on airplanes. This is an anxious experience for most people. Get on that airplane, put your seatbelt on, sit in your seat, unless you have to get up and go to the restroom. If you can't hold it, please do. I don't understand this whole notion of people wanting to do whatever they want to do on an airplane. We're hundreds, thousands and thousands of miles above land, and you want to act out now? Now, granted, the plane wasn't taking off. They were at the gate. But still, people act like once they get into that tube, they want to lose their mind. That's just my takes on the situation. You may not agree with me, and that's okay. In my personal opinion, I feel like she's a very talented person. I heard her on Maverick City's newest album. She has an amazing voice. I know that this situation, she will outgrow this entire situation, right? Because this is just a situation for the moment. My particular prayer is that she learns from this entire experience and doesn't allow situations like this to be the thing that defines who she is. Like when people hear her name, oh, her. I just don't want that for her. And I wish her the best. I wish her much success. And yeah, I'm hoping that you enjoyed this video and you enjoyed hearing my takes and my opinions about this. If you like this video, please be sure to like the video, comment, and subscribe. Be respectful in the comment section, specifically about her, because we're all humans and people be peopling. People make mistakes. The difference for us as people is, how do we move after we make a mistake? How do we recover from a mistake? That's what matters. That's it. Until next time, give love, don't forget to smile, and remember to always live your passion. Smooches. So I made myself some cauliflower, right? And I burnt it because I was trying to figure out this whole microphone situation. You see how burnt that is? Yeah. Bye.